Hello everyone, I'm V.Vardhini, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA Vistas. Welcome you all to the subject Strategic Management. It's a continuation of our previous video of environmental scanning. In this video, we are going to cover regarding the components, techniques and processes. So, in this competitive and rapidly changing business environment, organizations need more than just good products or services to succeed. They need the ability to anticipate changes and adapt quickly. And that's exactly where the environment scanning comes in. So, by the end of this session, you will understand what, why, and how of the environmental scanning, along with the key tools and the challenges involved. Okay, so let's see the components in the environmental scanning. So, environmental scanning is essentially the process of collecting, analyzing, interpreting information about the external and internal factors that can affect an organization's performance. Think of it as an organization's radar. It constantly scans the surroundings to detect opportunities, spot threats, and identify the internal strengths and the weaknesses. So, the main aim is simple. It helps the managers to make an informed strategic decision before issues become the crisis and the opportunities slip away. So, in environmental scanning, there's an internal environment component, and then we have an external environment component. So these are the factors which the organization that influence its operations and overall performance. In internal components, we have human resources, capital resources, technological resources. Okay, and in human resources, we have to scan the skills and talents and motivations of the employees. But in capital resources, we have to see the financial strength and the investment capacities. Wherein technological resources, IT infrastructure and innovation capabilities is being scanned. Okay, so the changes in these components, say loss of skilled staff or the outdated technology, can directly affect the business efficiency. So the next component here is external component. So these lie outside the business but still have an major impact. And so we divide it into two, that is a micro environment and macro environment. As we have studied in the previous video itself, micro environment includes competitors, customers, suppliers, intermediaries and other market players, whereas macro environment involves political, legal, economic, cultural, demographic and technological trends. So, for example, a sudden change in government policy, which is a macro environment, or an entry of a new competitor, which is a micro environment, can force the strategic changes. Okay, so let's see the like these are the macro and micro environments. Okay, so now let's see the key environmental scanning techniques. Okay, so the main technique in the environment is your SWOT analysis. So SWOT is your strength, that is internal capabilities, weakness again and internal limitations, opportunities is analyzing the external chances for growth, and threats, it's an external challenges. It's one of the simplest and most widely used tools for the strategic planning. The next analysis is a pest analysis. It is known as political, economical, social, and technological aspects of the macro environment. For instance, a shift towards a renewable energy policies would be a political factors influencing the energy companies. Next analysis is your ETOP. ETOP involves environmental threat and opportunity profiles. So it's a more detailed method for listing, analyzing, and prioritizing environmental threats and the opportunities. The next scanning and techniques is your quest, quick environmental scanning technique. It's a fast and inexpensive approach for scanning critical issues in a short time, perfect for a smaller business or an urgent situations. Okay, so these are four different kinds of techniques that we can use for the environmental scanning. Next, what is the process of environmental scanning? So, in scanning, so first important process is to identify the relevant factors and the signals in the environment. So, you have to analyze the environment, you have to spot the factors that may impact the business, and then alert the enterprises to take the suitable decision, that is mainly strategic decision, before the situation becomes critical. The next is monitoring. So now we have to collect the data from the sources like reports, industry publications, interactions with the stakeholders, and we have to utilize to monitor and find out the trends and patterns. Next thing is forecasting. So you have to predict the future events based on the previously analyzed data in the monitoring phase. Okay, the next is assessment. So you have to evaluate which factors are opportunities and which are threats. So in assessment part, you have to analyze the opportunities and threats factors. So in the next, so this is the process. After finishing the process, why this environmental scanning is so important for all the companies? Okay, so the main importance for the environmental scanning is goal accomplishment. The environmental scanning aligns the strategy with the environmental changes, and it helps the organization adapts the strategy to the environmental changes to fulfill the objectives. So the next importance is threat and weakness identification. So with the help of environmental scanning, we can minimize the risks and addresses the internal gaps, so which will lead for a better strategies. Then we have future forecasting, and if we use this environmental scanning in a better way, and take a better strategic decision with the help of the scanning, we can analyze the future and we can avoid an unpredictable change. Okay, so the next thing is market knowledge. So the organization keeps aware itself on ongoing what is happening, the market changes, and make the required adjustment in its strategy. So the next importance is the focus on the customers. So, since the customer needs and expectations are very sensitive and it's a keep on changing, so it is very essential for the customer, for the organization, to have an environmental scanning or reading their customers on a regular basis to understand what changes are happening in the market. And the last importance is your opportunity identification. So it helps the company to identify the possible opportunities and take the necessary steps. So according to the basis of the current environmental analysis, so it spots the potential areas for the growth. So, where we have the importance of the environmental scanning, definitely there are certain limitations of the environmental scanning also. So, let's see the limitations of environmental scanning. First, the limitation is information overload. There are too much information can lead to indecision or reducing the reliability. Okay, so there is too much data that can cause the decision paralysis. The management will not be able to take a proper decision if they have too much of the information. Next is it does not eliminate the uncertainty. It is not perfectly forecast the future. It can just and assess the future. And so it will not eliminate the unexpected events. So it aims to minimize the threats. Okay, so it cannot fully predict the future. The next limitation is delayed decision. Due to the information overload, the decision making gets difficult and delayed. So the organization can make an overly cautious and delaying the timely decisions and actions, which can take the golden hour away. Okay, so over analysis may slow down the actions. The last limitation is reliance on the unverified data. So, completely reliance on the analyzed information without the data verification and accuracy can lead to the deviation from the desired outcome. So, there is always a risk of acting on an inaccurate and unverified information that is being gathered. So, to sum up, environmental scanning is crucial element of strategic management. It empowers the organizations to adapt, innovate, and remain competitive. Whether you are using a quick quest approach or a detailed SWOT and best analysis, the key is not just collecting information but interpreting it and acting on it on time. So remember this, that in business, the earlier you see the change coming, the better you can prepare for it. I hope might have understood the environmental scanning. Let's continue strategic management in our next video. Thank you.